All right, we sound good. Buckle up. This one's titled Poor People Make Poor Decisions. So we've got this guy, I love this dude, and another dude who, instead of blaming the poor people, which I'm going to argue even middle class people make terrible decisions, let's be honest here, guilty, from downtown. And then we got another guy after this dude who's actually blaming the predatory loans. So this should be fun.
I own a car dealership here in Miami, Florida, and it's crazy the amount of poor people that make poor decisions. So I have a page that is dedicated to dealership content, car content, financial literacy. It's called Ride with Yusuf. I have almost 360,000 followers, and the gist of my content is allowing people to hear themselves when they're trying to make a decision about their bad credit, expensive car, depreciating asset, expensive auto loan, high interest auto loans. And it's crazy, even with the exposure that I get, people still come into the dealership and get 20% loans, 30% loans, and just think that they have it figured out, even though in front of them it doesn't make mathematical sense and it doesn't make financial sense for them. And this poor people psychology is absolutely insane. It's as if...
This is actually pretty funny. I've said this before, but like, this dude will literally tell people, and this is the kind of car salesman I would be, to be honest with you. He literally will be like, look, Deborah, this is a terrible financial decision that is detrimental to your life. This could bury you. If you're okay with that, sign here. And they fucking do it. That's the funniest part. That's the funniest part. But, to be fair though, to be totally fair, people who make great money do the same thing. So this is fun.
If they get the thing that's in front of them that's nice, that is expensive, they're going to somehow detach themselves from reality and enter into a new realm or a new social class or just become more successful when inevitably it's more upkeep, it's more expensive, they won't be able to maintain it. And listen, I've had my cars repossessed, I've been in crippling debt, and no.
I love what he just said there. You ever hear people go, when you drive a nice car, people will treat you like fake it till you make it? I've heard this from several people. And I'm like, yeah, but what's the probability? Like, you can't bring your car into the dinner or like into the meeting, right? Like, I never really understood that logic. Like, there's plenty of, like, okay. No, we're going to get into this. Let him finish out. I'm going to shut up. We'll go to the next guy real fast.
I'm nowhere near the financial place that I want to be in, but at the same time, we kind of recognize the patterns that we got ourselves into a mess, maneuver around those things in the future to make sure that we don't put ourselves in that position again. But it absolutely blows my mind time and time again. Same mentality, poor people mentality, and I can see why they stay in such a financial bind. It's just the mistakes after mistakes, not even in their financial realm, in their personal lives, in their spiritual lives. It's just...
All right, spiritual lives aside, let's go to the next guy who blames people like this, the predatory loans, which I think it's a mix of both, to be honest.
So I own a car dealership here in Miami, Florida, and it's crazy the amount of poor people that make poor decisions.
Let's actually have a conversation about this. Because let's not pretend like there's not a bunch of car dealerships, like local small owned car dealerships, that aren't going way far out of their way to normalize $700, $800, $1,000, $1,200 car payments on here, where they're walking around and you're talking to some, secretary that it's like, hey Carla, how much is your car payment? Tee $900 a month. Or some used car salesman, hey Bob, how much is your car payment? $1,350. You guys are going out of your way to normalize absurdly expensive car payments, right? So let's go ahead and cross that right off the list. Now, let's take a group of this country, the bottom 2/3, right? Otherwise known as the majority of the country, who live in practical poverty. They live in the types of places that are landlord specials, where every time a new tenant comes in, the landlord...
Practical poverty, that's the best. But like okay, put it this way, right? If somebody who makes $3,000 a month is willing to pay $600 a month for a car payment, this is something that I think most of us are kind of guilty of, right? Like, I almost did this, but I just can't find myself to spend that kind of money. But for instance, if somebody making $3,000 a month is willing to have a $600 car payment, what happens when the same person starts making $8,000 a month? Anybody in here? Be honest with yourself. For real. You start making $10,000 a month. Life-changing money. Seriously. Are you going to just not be tempted to do these things? Because I have people in my life, I'm not going to say no names, but they make really great money. We're talking combined income of $15,000 a month. Yet, they're kind of broke. They have nothing saved. But if you were to see them, the way they maneuver in society, their cars, very nice cars. Real fucking nice. Real nice. Everything, their lifestyle, the vacations, the whole nine. They're always on a fucking trip. No shade. I'm just saying they're not poor. They make poor decisions. My mother and father were far from poor, and they made terrible decisions. Terrible. My mom financed a fucking couch. When my mother passed away, it turned out everything in her life was financed. Everything. Down to the fucking ottoman. My dad, too. I thought my dad was some big shot. No. It was all fucking facade. It's all facade. Not their whole lives, but once they made it to the certain echelons of money coming in every month. So it's almost no different, right? Like, and a lot of us don't know any better. We don't fucking know, right? I've just learned from other people's mistakes, and I'm also kind of guilty of it to a small degree. When I was making $6,000 a month, I may as well have been rich. But I still had roommates and stuff. I didn't go all the way with it. My point is we could bury our own fucking financial graves, if you would say. Anyways, just to be fair on that, it's not just poor people. It's most people. Let's not bullshit each other here.
Landlord just comes in and puts a new coat of satin white, so the paint is 9 layers, thick, and, even the door handles have stupid white paint on it.
Also, before he keeps going, today's episode is sponsored by Breastwater. They support cancer, breast cancer, alkaline water. It's good shit. We're actually giving away $1,000 to somebody. All you gotta do is go to breastwater.com, buy yourself a case, screenshot your successful order, send it on over to them on Instagram. Just send them the picture, and you're entered to win. We're gonna announce it mid-July. Also, you're supporting a good cause, and you're hydrating yourself. Breastwater.com. It's a real thing. Anyways.
It's all chipped up tile floors. No one has really anything. No one's getting ahead. And a bunch of people, making poor decisions. Because they just, at some place in their life, they want to feel like they're not the dredges of fucking society. They want to feel like they have something to be proud of. Because nowhere else in their life do they have anything to be proud of, anything that makes them feel like they're getting ahead. And let's also not pretend like car salesmen are not going out of their way with their little Foursquare and being like, and this is your payment, and this is You're not going out of your way to talk about the fact that if you go buy that $50,000 car.
He's got a point about feeling like special. But this is how I look at it. Plenty of people driving $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 cars. If you were to ask them, hey, do you have $50,000 like liquid or like at least in an investment? Answer's probably no. More often than not. Okay? So all I'm saying is I've been the guy at younger in my life and now. I've been the guy with 40 grand in the bank. Right? Maybe I didn't know how to invest it, but I knew how to make it, right? And this is years back. Driving the piece of shit hoopty. Because he's talking about feeling special. Oh my God. Especially if you're 25, you got 30 grand on you, you feel fucking incredible. No new car. Have a brand new shiny car, but I have 2 grand in my name. I don't think I'm going to feel too special. Maybe some people's brains work different. Maybe I would feel like I don't even deserve this car. Honestly. And I do that till this day. I'd rather What feels real special is I got fucking like gold and shit. You know what I mean? Like I have like investments. I have money. Like not even just money, like practical things. And I still drive a not so great car. I mean, I have one cool car. I got the Cadillac. Shout out to everybody who bought a Caddy Day shirt. Basically sold out of sizes, so sorry about that if you've been trying to buy one. Got XLs. But my point is it's like you can feel special. But I do understand that, though. I understand that kind of logic. I really do. The fake it till you make it, right? Like if you have this thing, you will feel as if you're worth more. But the same thing could go if you just save some money up or make the money. Forget the saving thing. Like figure out how to make the money. But I do understand that to a degree. I do. But I'd much rather pull up in the fucking $8,000 car and have 30, 40, 50 grand and some investments than pull up in the $50,000 car and I have nothing. I'm check to check. I don't know how people do it. I commend people who do that. I'm not pointing fingers here. I'm just saying most of us are guilty of fucking around and finding out, learning the hard way.
Or $35,000 in additional interest is going to need. Well, the car's only 50, but you're actually going to have to pay 85 for it. You're not talking about that. You're focusing on the payment. You're focusing on how long it's going to take to pay off. Like, car sales have always been predatory. You're literally a middleman that, for the most part, outside of used cars, doesn't need to exist. And even in used cars, you have a vested interest in being predatory. I'm not saying this guy's doing that, but if you go watch his video, he literally talks about, I have a business where, and I can't believe these people are doing it. You are financially incentivized to get people to sign up for 25, 30% loans.
Yeah, but this guy, I like both of these dudes. But before we go back to the other guy's comment section, that other dude, he really tells these people, hey, this is stupid. You can't afford to drive a BMW. You need a Honda. He does that. And I get where he's coming from, okay? I have had a car payment before. They will get you in that shit so fast. Last time I had a car payment, it was $280 a month. Yeah, so long time ago, 10 years ago. Never did it again. I learned the hard way, okay? I thought I was rich, making $5,500 a month or $6,000 a month. And I thought I could just up my lifestyle, which is actually the wrong way to go about it. I learned the hard way, and I was fortunate enough to learn the hard way. Now I'm doing it again. I'm going, okay, I'm making the most money I've ever made. Swish. But now I got to learn how to actually use the money, right? No one's really here. Luckily, we have the internet to kind of learn from people's mistakes and also go, what should I do with this shit? And you can invest money even if you... I don't care if you're making $6,000 a month. You could put away $500 a month. Don't bullshit me and tell me you can't. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't lie to me. Maybe if you're living alone, you have kids and stuff, maybe not. But I'm still gonna call bullshit. Sometimes the poor decisions are the only ones left to us because the good decisions have been taken by those with the privilege to make them. Yeah, it's also knowing, too. Even middle-class people, man. Even people making... Dude, there's combined couples right now making $15,000 a month. Making erratic decisions. Just... insane. Like my girlfriend, right? We're in love, all that stuff. We're a team. But she thinks I'm nuts because I save most of our money. And I'm like, what do you want to spend it on? Like, what do you want to spend all this money on? Like, do you ever want to possibly retire? Even if that's not really in the cards. I'm going to try to make it in the cards. But I have that. So there's just a prime example of people do this shit. I'm telling you, most people, if they're ever fortunate enough to start making 10 grand, 15 grand a month, which is a lot of fucking money, they're probably going to make the wrong decisions with the money. That's just how it goes, though. I fought like hell for my $332 car payment back in 2019. Oh, that's a really good deal. All right, wait. Let me go back to the other guys.
So I own
poor people one here. Okay. The only tenants we ever had to evict from one of our houses had cars just as nice as ours, but couldn't afford to pay rent 6 months in a row. Like, what the fuck? It's the classic, man. I drive a paid-off F-150, and I'm surprised when driving in low-income areas how many high-end European cars I see. Yeah, me and my best friend Nick were talking about this the other night because for years he was making, just over 100K, making the most money at his job, but the people making substantially less than him drove nicer cars. And he still drives the same piece of shit car. He has a truck now, but he doesn't drive the truck to work. He's like, I don't care. But he's just shocked because we both think very similarly. He owns his house. He's got a family. He wants to do the right thing with the money. But we get a kick out of it. We're kind of undercover brother. And it's not that we have like pride in it or anything. It's just we're practical. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen our parents, we've seen people around us, and we're like, yeah, let's not end up like them. Let's try and be smart with this shit. I'll never be able to afford a house. LOL. The generation loves $1,100 car payments. I don't know how people do it, man. They got some balls on them. I mean, maybe if you're writing it off, like a truck or something for your business, I can understand that. Let's be honest. They were never going to pay off the loan anyways. Yeah, we said this before. A lot of people, you get the money for free, you don't care about it. Or you get something for free, which that's how I look at a car loan. So many people are willing to give it up for repossession. Well, they would never give it up if they paid $40,000 cash for it. They'd hold on to that motherfucker. They'd be like, I'd drive this bitch into a lake before I give it back to you. Bingo. And in Miami is full of stupid people like that. Couldn't take it anymore. Got the F out. There we go. You are looking at this from the logic standpoint. I've explained this to numerous times to lenders. It's not about making good or poor financial decisions. They are tired of losing in life and want a win. As a car dealer, I've turned away people I know can't afford that car. No matter how much you try to educate, they will go to someone who will give them the win. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of like, we'll end on that note. Like, sometimes people, they just want it. Even if they can't afford it, they just want it. There's nothing, you can tell them the truth. Like for me, a good example is, doing that, you're never going to make it if you try and be a content creator or a comedian or a fucking pro skateboarder. The probability is so small, but it's like, I can't listen to that. Like, we're never, especially when you're young, if somebody tells you, hey, that's probably a bad decision, unfortunately, most of us learn the hard way. Anyways, hell of a talk. You guys leave your thoughts. Shout out to everybody who bought a shirt. Also, everyone that invested in some gold, Atlas Bullion. I'll leave my link down below. Breastwater.com, giving away some money. Actually, we're giving away some money too. We're giving away a $450 gold coin through Atlas Bullion. If you've already bought gold through my link, you're automatically entered the win. So that's going to be happening July 4th. But yeah, I'll leave the link to these cats below. But I love when they're like, poor people make poor decisions. It's like, dude, most of us, majority of us, have made some very stupid decisions. Guilty. Solid talk. Unreal.